am Dr. Jabbar Al-Maliki from the School of Computing at University Utara, Malaysia. This is a practical guide for researchers who need to master the literature review process. Most researchers have experienced the frustration of reading a paper for 10 minutes only to realize they understood nothing. This happens because research papers are not textbooks. They are not designed to be read linearly from the first word to the last page. This flowchart shows the standard PhD journey. Notice that the literature review sits between your topic and your results. It provides the evidence for your research gap, which in turn dictates your methodology. Because it informs every subsequent step, the literature review is the core engine of your entire project. To manage this workload, you can use a 3-pass method. Instead of trying to memorize every sentence, you read at 3 different levels to strategically extract the information you actually need. The first pass determines relevance. Scan the title, the authors, and the abstract. Look specifically for keywords that overlap with your variables or technology. You are answering one question: should I invest more time in this paper? Filtering out irrelevant literature quickly preserves your energy for the papers that actually matter. A 5-minute scan that leads you to discard a paper is a sign of highly efficient research. If a paper is relevant, move to the second pass to understand the research story. This anatomy shows how a strong paper connects a broad problem to a specific methodological solution. Your primary task is to find the research gap, the specific knowledge that was missing before this study. Look for signal phrases such as "however," "previous studies have not," or "existing approaches suffer from." Try to find the gap in this abstract. The phrase "despite previous research" introduces the specific failure of existing algorithms, which justifies why this new study was conducted. Use that gap to evaluate the methodology. If the authors identified high error rates as the problem, look for the specific metrics, like RMSE or F1 score, they used to prove their solution works. Ask why these metrics were appropriate for this specific gap. Finally, check the future work section in the conclusion. Authors often list the problems they were unable to solve. These unresolved issues are prime opportunities for your own research proposals. Systematically identifying the problem, the gap, and the methodology allows you to interpret the paper within the context of the larger academic conversation. The third pass is a critical appraisal. You must evaluate the reliability of the work by recording the paper's details in a structured matrix. Question the evidence. Examine the dataset size, the strength of the baselines, and any potential weaknesses the authors did not discuss. Log these limitations systematically to use later in your own writing. Use the reference list to map the field. Search backward for foundational studies and forward for recent papers that cite this work. This reveals which researchers agree, which disagree, and how an idea has evolved over time. During a viva or defense, examiners will look for the synthesis. They want to see how you identified flaws in others' work to justify the specific path you chose for your own methodology. Efficient research requires strict time management. Spend 5 to 10 minutes on the first pass and 20 to 30 minutes on the second. Reserve the hour-plus critical third pass for the small number of papers that directly impact your research design. Avoid the common mistakes that slow down progress. Do not read every paper from start to finish. Do not highlight entire pages. Do not hoard unorganized PDFs, and never accept an author's conclusions without evaluating the supporting data. You have mastered a paper when you can answer these 5 questions. 1. What problem are they solving? 2. What gap are they addressing? 3. What method did they use? 4. What did they discover? And 5. What is still missing? That final question, what is still missing, is the most important. The answer to that question is where your own original contribution to knowledge begins.